So this morning for breakfast, I'm having 2 eggs, some avocado, some bacon, a little wedge of manchego cheese, a zero-carb tortilla, and some strawberries. And I'm also having a cup of unsweetened almond milk. When I'm doing low carb and if I'm super duper hungry, this is my favorite breakfast. Now, I did a whole grocery haul, but our yard guy came and made all kinds of noise and it made me lose half of my video. So I'll just show you a few things that I got: some edamame, some Brussels sprouts, pork rinds. I got steak and burger. One thing that, I've got Canadian bacon too, but one thing that I did this week was get a good sale on cauliflower riced veggies, and this is a risotto medley. It's got asparagus and mushrooms, and it's really, really good. I'll show you how I cook this up so that it tastes more like rice to me, or feels more like rice to me. It's always going to taste kind of like cauliflower. And I got some more soup bones to make some bone broth. These are a third of the price than I found them at Whole Foods. So I just got them at regular Albertsons, and that's worth it. Some chicken breasts, more zero-carb tortillas, shishito peppers. I've got some of these sugar-free chocolate chips here, Lily's brand, and I'll put about 5 of them on my rice cake at the end of the day for a treat, and I will put a little dollop, like a tablespoon of this light Cool Whip on top. And the carbohydrates are quite low. I think it's like 3 grams for 2 tablespoons, so it's not a whole lot. And so that, also I wanted to show you this tea, this fruit sampler. If you've never had this, a really good idea. I don't really care for the black cherry, but if you take one of each of the other flavors and put them all together to make like a sun tea, they make the most amazing tasting tea. I also got some sausage this week.
Happy Sunday. It is Sunday, and I am making some asparagus. I have blanched them in hot water, and then I plunge them into an ice bath, and now I have a little butter in the pan, and I'm sauteing them. Here's where they're at. Now my hubby is outside, and he is cooking up a bunch of drumsticks on the grill because he is amazing at making drumsticks on the grill. So I will show you some of that in just a minute.
I'm using the Green Giant cauliflower risotto with mushrooms and asparagus. And usually the frozen cauliflower has a lot of water in it, so I microwave it first, put it in a cheesecloth, and then I'll just kind of like squeeze it over a strainer. Then I can saute it, and it tastes more like real rice, and it's good and dry. So I'm going to squeezed out all of the liquid that I got from here, and I'll show you what I ended up with. That's a lot of liquid in the cauliflower rice. So that is taken out, and I'm going to saute this. Butter in here in the pan, and I am going to just saute this around in the pan. It's nice and dry, and it feels a lot more ricey when I do it that way rather than just, heating it up straight from the frozen with all that water. It just doesn't sit quite right. Oh, that smells good. So is the chicken done?
Almost.
Oh, look at that. Yum. Thank you. Everybody, it is Monday morning, and I am stretching a bit. I am in the gym, and I'm about to start my my weight workout. It's not like a heavy weights. I would say it's more moderate, and lots of total body movement. But I started this routine and was really, really disciplined at doing it last year and then earlier this year. When I started lowering my triglycerides, I kind of like backed off a bit, and I would just walk, right, after each meal or so. And now the past few weeks I'm trying to get back to being real regular in here besides walking. So one thing that yesterday, it was Sunday, and one thing that I noticed that I really like doing is slow jogging. So after breakfast, I didn't walk because we had to go to church, and then after lunch I walked on the treadmill I was at a 5% incline for many months, and I've just recently moved it to a 7% incline because I just got so used to the 5% that it didn't feel like it was challenging me anymore, so I've moved it up a bit. And I walk slow. It's at a 2.0 up. And so, but it is challenging. And after dinner, rather than just walking, I lowered it all the way to the ground, and then I did a slow jog. And slow jog is not jogging and it's not running. It is something more like a walking with a little bit of a bounce to it. There's a way of doing it. I'll try to find the video and remember to put it in the comment section in case you want to know what I'm talking about. But it was a really neat method that came out of Japan from a particular professor who has now passed, but he's left a really wonderful legacy of this type of exercise, and it's still being pushed and used there today. And it's a really wonderful method of movement where you look like you're just like almost in slow motion, almost jogging, but you move at very, very tiny intervals. And it is meant to get the same benefits of cardio without giving you, all of the impact on your joints and, the injuries that many people who run and jog can get. And so you can do it at any age, and you can still, he tested it and he found that, you can get the very same benefits cardio fitness wise, but it just doesn't wear you out like running does. And I think that's wonderful. So I did it last night for about a half an hour, and I thought, wow, I forgot how much I really enjoyed doing this. So I think I'm going to add some more of that back in. Now, I was looking for another 5K in the area that I could kind of like train the kids to do with me. Again, normally there's one in the area called the Mom's Rock, and it benefits an Alzheimer's Foundation. But it's in May, and I don't know if I have enough time to train them to do that. Although, I mean, they're kids. I'm sure they'll be able to run a 5K, trust me. But, I want them to be able to do that with me. I am not a fast runner at all. So last time I did that with them was like a couple of years ago, and we trained for like 8 weeks together. And I had noticed that I was really having trouble with my hips because I have arthritis, and I think it was settling in like the ball in the socket in the hip joint. It was hurting so bad every time I tried to run, and I just had to like drop it down to a kind of a quick walk, and that's all I could really do. And I didn't know what was happening. But since then, now on that run, I ended up like tearing my left meniscus because they had us running on like a dirt path for part of it, and then there were kids that were coming by, so it would like make you go over to the edge, and then it was kind of I wasn't really steep, but it wasn't level, and my knee ended up getting ripped by doing that, the meniscus, and so I had to have surgery to fix that, but did make it through the rest of the run, but I ended up walking past the finish line. So we did that, and the knee's all fixed now, and since I've been walking on an incline, I think it has really helped to build up the strength in my hips because it doesn't hurt when I slow jog. So I'm thinking, okay, I'm going to try it out and do a little bit of a run with them and see if that would hurt as well. But again, like I said, the slow jog doesn't hurt it at all. If I run and that puts more impact on the ball in the socket in the joint there, it's probably best for me not to run and just stick with the slow jog, right? And I'll be like one of the last people, but I don't even care about that anymore. But I do like slow jogging. It is wonderful. If you haven't heard about it, you might want to look into it. So anyway, so what am I going to do different this week? Because I weighed in this morning, and I am like 0.2 up from where I was a couple of days ago. And so basically I'm just sticking around where I was at the last weigh-in. And I know that's going to happen sometimes, but I was thinking, you know what, I probably have been having too many calories this week. Maybe they're coming from fat. I don't know. I mean, I've been finding, you know, when I eat, I stick with what I have, and sometimes it's enough and sometimes it doesn't feel like it's enough, and if it doesn't, I have to have like a quarter cup of pistachios or something like that till I finish it off, and then I'm okay, you know, in a big glass of water. So I'm trying to find that sweet spot of calories where I'm not left hungry, but how many can I have still lose weight, right? So I don't know. It is hard to do. It is hard to do. And my husband was telling me that this morning. He is, you know, he's trying to lose some weight, and I think he looks amazing, but, you know, we all have a different place we're comfortable with our bodies. And so he wants to get to the place where he's comfortable. But he is finding, like me, that, you know, when we're close to 60 now, we're both 58, and it does get harder and harder, you know. And so anyway, I think it has a lot to do with hormones and, you know, all that kind of stuff. And yes, our metabolism, and some people don't agree. I do still, because mine's definitely changed. So for breakfast this morning, I'm having 3/4 cup of egg whites, 1 egg, some asparagus, some of my homemade blueberry compote, and a zucchini muffin, and I'm having 1 cup of unsweetened almond milk. And the zucchini muffin should be in my playlist. For lunch, I'm having green beans and honey's chicken, 2 of these light rye crisp breads, and for 2 of those, you know, it gives me fiber. This is a carb day, so I'm adding carbs to my meals. And for 2 of these crackers, I get 15 total grams of carbs. Take away the 4 grams of dietary fiber, which means leaves me 11 for net carbs. Okay, so that gives me a little bit of fiber there. And I wanted to show you this. This is so cute. I got this at Hobby Lobby today. It is a 1 egg omelet maker. So if you wanted to make like a little snack or something to put in your snack lunch bag or something, you can use 1 egg and then plus, you know, different things to make little omelets. And it's for the microwave. It does have some ideas for different recipes inside here, so I'll show you that another time, but I thought it was cute. I'm working on recovering some cushions for some dining chairs that I am painting, or we are painting, I should say, for the dining. Here are the chairs. They all look like this. Now I took all the cushions off of them, and the kids and I and my hubby sanded them down. We bought them at one of those like Baja California, you know, Mexican furniture store places, and we really liked the old look of them. They're a good sturdy chair, but it's time to upgrade them. So I'm going to paint these, and I'm replacing the cushions because the cushions got really yucky looking. We had them covered for a very long time, and I didn't realize that they just seemed to get dust. They actually had plastic over a canvas cover, and dust had seeped in under the plastic, and it just kind of like ruined the actual cover. And so we have to replace all of the cushions as well as paint it. So that's what it looks like before. So this is the color that I'm painting it, and that's going to match nicely with the new seat covers. And it's kind of a basic chair, but we got these because they were really sturdy, and we thought that they would last a long time with the kids, and I think I'm right. I got to get some grass out of here. I've got some onions in here, and I've got some tomatoes and kale and squash, another tomato, some more blooms. This lettuce has gone crazy. I've got like green leaf lettuce. I think I'm going to pick some tonight. And then I've got bell peppers. They're already starting to flower. I've got tomatoes, more bell peppers, the squash. I'll probably have to move that. And then I've got more lettuce kind of going nuts here, some tomatoes, and the kale's really starting to come up. And I've got more.
This area is a big mess. It's mint that has grown in with grass. So I need to get in there and get it all out again. I've got a bunch of rosemary growing here. And then we have some boysenberries that we planted from Knott's Berry Farm. And they are coming up nicely. And they're on little towers here. And then in here, we've got more mint and basil growing. More mint back there. Lots of rosemary, got tons of rosemary, and then mint again back there. Mint just loves to get everywhere. I've got some more of the boysenberries coming up over here. I've got oregano over there, and then sage here, and oh, there's some boysenberry bushes coming up there. And then I've got parsley and cilantro in here, kind of just hanging over. And then right here I've got, what is that? That's thyme, lemon thyme. And then there's more mint in here. So this is kind of like a little herb garden on this side. I've got my last carb meal of the day because on this day I am kind of like allowing to have a higher amount of carbs. Tomorrow is going to be a low carb day and I'm carb cycling. So that's why I'm doing this. I have a third of a cup of old-fashioned oats, which I cooked in 1 1/3 cup of water, and I have some brown sugar swerve, some pumpkin seeds, a package of the Zero Chobani berry yogurt that's lactose free, and then I've got some of my blueberry compote that I put on top, and this is going to make a really nice meal for tonight. I just wanted a little something, some carb to end the day with some protein. And this is actually the first bowl of oatmeal I've had in about 2 months since I've been trying to lower my A1C and have successfully done that. So I'm really going to enjoy this. And I want to thank Patricia for reminding me how much I love oatmeal. I totally forgot about it. So here is the finished chair. And I've got to do 4 more. They've got 2 pleats in the front and 2 pleats in the back. So I'm not a professional upholsterer, so I just couldn't get around having 4 pleats in each cushion. But I think it's okay. It doesn't really bother me. They were kind of like that before. So anyway, there we go. Okay, it's a low carb day today, and I'm having a 0 carb tortilla, a quarter avocado, 1 piece of bacon, and then mostly egg whites, but with 1 egg in it, and then peppers and onions and some strawberries. Okay, so to wrap up, adding the carbs back in, carb cycling, so to speak, what I'm doing is adding just, more carbs. I'm adding more carbs back in, whole grain and whole food carbs, on the days that I know that I'm going to do like my weight workout or I have more strenuous activity that day. And the days that I just have like walking or just, my normal cardio stuff, like a normal day, I'm going to go back low carb on those days. And so it's been less than a week so far that I've made that change. But so far I have noticed 3 different things. Number 1, my energy has just really changed. It's gone through the roof, and I have the energy to do all the things that I want to do now, and I don't feel sluggish, and I don't get brain fog and the things that started happening being on low carb for so long. And so I'm grateful for that. Number 2, my digestion is great. And I have to tell you, a little too much TMI here, but after my hysterectomy about 1.5 years ago, I had such a problem getting things moving again. And business was not as usual. And I was depending on Miralax, Colay, Smooth Move tea. I mean, rotating things so I wouldn't have to get too used to them, but never really finding that normalcy again in the way things moved. And so I think that taking almost like 2 months off of plain sugar, just taking all refined sugars and white flours and, that kind of quick carb out of my diet for that amount of time to try to lower my A1C, I think it really allowed the good gut flora to replenish and flourish again. When I started finding
this week is that since adding the carbs back in, I think that it kind of reset things, right? And so I have not needed to use any aids at all. I mean, things feel completely normal. And I think that comes from finding the right amount of carb for your own body. And I think I'm finding the right amount of carb for my body. And so I think that carb cycling and not doing low carb every single day is going to help. Number 3, I am sleeping like a baby now. And after being on low carb for so long, I started really having trouble with that, and my mind was racing and I was tossing and turning all night, and it started really bothering my husband. I mean, he wouldn't, of course he's not going to get up and go sleep anywhere else because we want to stay together, but I was I was waking him up, and he has to get up early anyway, so I know he wasn't getting good sleep, and so I felt bad about that. But now I'm sleeping much more peacefully now that the carbs are coming back in. So I kind of wanted to report that to you just so you know how that's affecting me. And I do believe that carbs are really, really important. They really get that the serotonin production going and running smoothly, which we all need. So I wanted to let you know how that was working. I will see you guys in the next one, and I hope you're having a wonderful day.